And for the Health Nugget, because it's a communion service today, I wanted to just open the service with something to remind us of Jesus. Because one of my favorite stories, one of my favorite gospel stories, is a story that you might probably know as the story of Jesus walking on water. And it's a funny way to put it, because Jesus walking on water isn't really the point of the story. You know, it's kind of one of those stories like we call it Jacob's ladder. You know, it wasn't Jacob's ladder. You know, I don't know why we call it that, but that's how we know it, right? We know it as Jacob's ladder. You know, the story is Jesus walking on water, but that's not really the point of the story. The story really, it's a really short, beautiful story that really describes the Christian walk. And the story is more about Peter and what Jesus taught Peter in that moment. Jesus had just gotten done performing the miracle where he multiplied the loaves and the fishes, and he fed thousands of people with just a little bit of food. And right after that, he went up into the mountains to pray, and he told his disciples to go get a boat. And they're out in the boat waiting for Jesus to return, and night falls, and you know, it's a tumultuous wind that comes. It's dark, the wind is going, the waves are tumultuous, and then they see Jesus walking up to the boat, and immediately they're afraid. They think it's a ghost, right? And then Jesus comforts them and says, no, it's me. And then Peter, when he sees that it's Jesus, he says, Lord, can I come out to you? Can I walk on the water with you? And Jesus says, come. And so Peter, he takes one foot out of the boat, puts it into the water. It's firm. He's looking at Jesus. He keeps his eyes on Jesus, and he starts walking on the water with Jesus. Just like Jesus did. He's walking on the water, but this didn't last very long because it's stormy, it's dark, the wind is going, the waves are moving, and through the sound and fury of it all, he took his eyes off Jesus. He got too focused on what was going on around him. And the moment he took his eyes off Jesus, he began to sink. Began to sink into the water. And then it's in the middle of the night. The water is basically the abyss. It's this dark abyss just began to swallow him up. And the moment that happened, he cried out, you know, like a child for his father. He said, Lord, save me. And immediately, Jesus' hand plunges into the water, pulls him back up to safety, and he asks him, "Oh, ye of little faith, why did you ever doubt?" And that story really sums up the Christian walk. That's really how it is, because as long as you keep your eyes on Jesus, as long as your focus is on Jesus, the power that he gives you is incredible. You can be like Jesus. You can do things that Jesus did. Jesus gives us the power to do incredible things. All things are possible through him. But you have to keep your eyes on Jesus. If you let the sound and fury of life, the darkness and the storms, if you let that distract you, if you get too caught up in the earthly kingdoms of this world and the concerns of this world, and you take your eyes off Jesus, you will sink. You will. And I know you have before. It's happened to all of us. But the good thing about that is that all you have to do is cry out to Jesus. Say, Lord, save me. You recognize that you've taken your eyes off of him. You're sinking. As long as you put your eyes back on him and you ask him for help immediately he'll be there. He'll pull you up out of the darkness, out of the abyss, and he'll remind you, why did you ever doubt? Why did you ever doubt me? So I always found that story very moving. It's very short, but I just wanted to open up this service, especially since it's a communion service, with a special remembrance of Jesus. I pray you may all be in perfect health, and I pray that the rest of this service may be blessed. Amen.